What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? How you been?
Good.
You back? Where were you?
Yeah.
Florida?
I was in Florida.
Israel? Where were you?
Israel, then Florida, visiting my parents.
Oh, nice.
Yes, my mom and dad, and
Nice, man.
Yeah,
So you were in some warmer weather.
absolutely, it's freaking cold over here.
Yeah, it is. Just so you guys know, it's cold. We got snow, ice.
That's why we have the fireplace on.
That's why we have the fireplace on. Salt on the roads, can't ride. Doesn't look good for the next several weeks. But me and we talked to Sandy and we figured maybe let's do a video on our 8,000 mile trip. If you haven't checked out that video, go back and check it out. I'll leave also a link down below and at the end of the video so you guys could check out our 8,000 mile trip.
That was awesome.
Tell me how good that was.
Oh, that was awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
It was awesome, right?
Think about the preparations we had, like, what is it, 6 months before that? Even maybe close to a year, we were thinking about it.
Absolutely.
And then that video where we sat, and you were right over here.
Right. In my living room.
In the living room.
Yeah, telling people where we were going to go.
It was just initial plan, and it seemed far ahead. It seemed like so distant.
But it came like that.
It did. It did.
So why are we making this video? Because since we came back, we haven't had a chance to make a video. I got a lot of requests kind of from people saying, hey, you guys should make a video. Tell us what you liked about the trip and just kind of go over it. So we haven't made a video, or I haven't made one, he hasn't made one. Kind of just going over the trip, what to expect, what places were really nice, how long it took, how much it cost, blah, blah, blah. I did make a video about how much it costs. You guys could check that out. But kind of that. So why don't you start? What did you think about the trip?
Okay, you know what? I'll start with my highlight. How about that?
Okay, I was thinking maybe go along the way.
Oh, okay, we'll do.
What do you think?
That. Yeah, we'll get to the highlight at the end.
Yeah.
We started literally over here in Jersey.
Right.
And we made our way up to a Harley event, a homecoming. But on the way, we did a couple. I had to do a couple dealer stops for Harley Davidson, do some meet and greets. So I think
Pennsylvania.
it took us 3 days. 2-3 days.
Yeah, we stopped in. We left New Jersey. So total was 8,000 miles. We went from here, from New Jersey, went to Pennsylvania.
You had a
meet and greet there.
Meet and greet.
Steel City, Harley Davidson.
That was pretty cool to meet people.
That's
cool. Where it all started, like people coming up, and that was really cool.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun doing the meet and greets and meeting new people. Then from there, we went through West Virginia.
Oh yeah, remember
I should pull up a map because I'm probably gonna.
There was one point, I think, on the second day, John.
Yeah.
Where we zoomed, like in 2-3 hours, we zoomed through 3 different states. Remember, we were like at a corner.
I think it was Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and then into Ohio.
That was crazy. I was like, every other mile, like there's a new sign, welcome to, welcome. I was like, wow. And then I looked, blew up the map, and I saw that we're literally on a corner, like a corner where there were like 3 states really close to each other. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So right here, you see, like right there, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and then it's just that tippy top corner.
And there was like a drop of the state on the map over there?
Well, that's where, like I said, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and then the tippy top northern portion of West Virginia. Okay. We were like in and out of it. Yeah. So went through Pennsylvania, West Virginia, got into Ohio, and then we went into Indiana.
Right.
I had another dealer meet and greet dealer stop. That was Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne Harley, remember?
Right, yeah.
And then when we left Indiana, we went into Illinois. Mm-hmm. And then we stopped at Chi-Town Harley.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was very nice.
And what was fun about that, you remember? You don't remember?
Yeah, of course I do.
Our
buddy.
What was his name? Oh my God, I can't.
Mike, I think. Mike.
No.
He always writes sick. Always, all the videos, his comments are sick.
Anyway, he was Steve, right?
Steve.
Yeah. So he is a
state trooper, or
Illinois state trooper that showed up to my meet and greet. And when we were done, he came up to me and Sandy. He said, "Listen," because I asked him. I said, "Which way? What's the fastest way to get there?" So he said it was rush hour too. It was about 3-4 o'clock. We had to go up to Milwaukee from Chi-Town Harley. We had to kind of go through Chicago. where there's a lot of traffic. If you guys never been to Chicago, there is a lot of traffic. And we had to go through Chicago to Milwaukee. So he said, guys, let me escort you. He knew the way, kind of a little roundabout.
Yeah.
So we followed him. He took us on a pretty
cool.
fast, adventurous ride. But we saved a lot of time.
Yep. So
Was that your first time? Was that your first time through Chicago?
Yes.
What did you think about it?
Well, I wasn't crazy about the roads initially in the beginning, but as we rolled in, it was nicer. But we were it was very busy. The traffic was really busy over there. But we didn't hit the main, like, downtown or anything. So, we just flew by it, But I was in Chicago years before that, not on a bike.
Yeah, me personally, I was in Chicago a couple times. I love Chicago.
Yeah.
Not in the winter because it's freaking freezing, but Chicago in itself is a beautiful city. It's almost like you get that like Gothic feeling with the river from the lake coming through the town. You got the little bridges. I don't know. I actually like Chicago. I think it's pretty cool. It's it's almost like it's a big city, but you get that little small city vibe. It's not like we're next to New York City, massive, right?
Yeah.
You don't even dare to drive through New York City because you'll be slammed in gridlock traffic. But Chicago is different. You get a better feeling.
Yeah. But we flew by it. We didn't go in downtown.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
And then we headed into Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Once we were there, right? A little bit westbound. Oh no, continued northwestbound.
North to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that whole ride from kind of New Jersey.
He took us like, it was so avoiding traffic.
Yeah, it was a lot of, I think we went more miles, but faster, but we saved a lot of time because we missed the traffic, but it was really kind of around Chicago. But I was going to say, when you leave, if you guys have never been like on a long distance trip, I'm just trying to give you guys an idea. When we leave New Jersey, northern New Jersey, we go west. We get into Pennsylvania. As soon as we're like 20 miles out from where we live, it's pretty much all country, farmland on Route 80. And then basically Route 80 the whole way through Pennsylvania. It's all corn. Right. There's nothing to see. It's not super straight. It's mountainous and kind of twisty. But there's really nothing to see except, like I said, a lot of farm, corn, soy. And the same thing for West Virginia, same thing for Illinois and Indiana.
Scenery doesn't change that much.
No. I don't want to say it's a boring ride, but it's really not like a spectacular
monotonous
ride. Yeah, it's just pretty much crushing miles.
Yeah.
So then, so we got to Milwaukee.
And that's when the happening
We
started.
stayed for homecoming, right? And that was a couple days we were there?
That was...
right? 3 days?
3
maybe?
days. And that was my first time to Milwaukee.
Oh, first time?
Yeah. It was interesting. Very nice. I went to the museum, the whole Harley event, meeting up with people. It was pretty cool, actually.
Just so you guys know, I will be in Milwaukee. You're not going this year, right?
This year I'm not going.
I will be in Milwaukee for Harley Davidson Homecoming this year for a couple days. Cam's going to be with me, my son, and a bunch of the other guys.
Some of the guys are going.
I think Bo, Nadal, Glenn, and we'll see who else comes. But so we got a couple guys from the crew that are coming with me to Harley Davidson Homecoming. So definitely check them out because tickets are on sale now, and there's some pretty good artists as far as the concerts are going this year. A lot of country artists, so should be cool. What was your favorite thing about Milwaukee?
Well, the call,
because I've been there a couple times.
It's the people.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, like-minded people. Everybody gathering around the brand, around the bikes.
Right.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, it is.
That was really. It's like
It's
home.
It's home. Yeah. I even told people, like, if you've never been to Harley Davidson Homecoming in Milwaukee, I say you got to do it. I would say I actually enjoy it more than Daytona. I just think the community and everything they got going, the camaraderie. You got the museum, Harley Davidson. Isn't that awesome?
Very nice.
It's amazing.
Cool. The original factory where everything started, the hut.
Isn't that nostalgic? That's crazy. Yeah, to stand at the factory, like that's how I felt.
Yeah.
Knowing that, over 120 years ago, the first production bike was coming off. You know, you could like, I was thinking like, you know, through the building, looking through the wall, I could picture the conveyor, you know, not conveyor, but you know what I mean? You know, picture the motorcycle moving down the line as they're assembling it, you know?
I think it's a replica or the replica of the original hut or the original garage.
Oh, the building there.
The building.
Yeah,
So
that's there.
That's where it was. It was there.
Yep.
And go through the original building as well.
Yeah. And the park, they just created the park there, which is beautiful. I was there a couple years ago when they just broke ground. And then seeing it last year, it looked really, really nice. It's really cool.
The shows as well were really good.
Concerts?
The concerts.
Yeah, concerts were amazing.
The happening was
definitely
really exciting. Actually, it was a great time.
Yeah, I think the first year that I went,
what is this? Was it the
Red Hot Chili Peppers, I believe, and then the second year, last year was the Foo Fighters. So this year you got a bunch of other cool artists that are going to be there. Oh, and then you got a lot of the bike shows that are there by the museum. What else?
There are a lot of people showing their bikes, their builds. That's actually where you saw. That's where
I saw the Pan America.
The Pan America. Yeah, that was impressive.
What do you think about that bike?
I like it.
Yeah, so do I. You also have obviously the Harley Davidson factory that is there, where they're producing the motorcycles, the engines. Did you do that?
No.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
I did that tour 2 years ago. That is it's amazing how they put everything together. The robotics.
Yeah,
it's really impressive.
I don't think it was open for the public.
It's open for the public. Yeah, okay. It's open for the public.
I didn't get to see that. No.
So anyway, if you have a chance, definitely, I would strongly recommend to definitely go to Harley Davidson Homecoming.
That was nice.
So what did we do after that?
After that, we started our trip.
The next morning.
Westbound.
The next morning.
We met up with Danny and his friend Tony.
Oh, yeah. Tony, that's right.
And we started riding.
Yeah. So Danny's from Canada. He's from Ontario?
North of Toronto.
Toronto, yeah, north of Toronto. And he actually came from Toronto, met us down into Milwaukee. And then that's where me, Sandy, and Tony... and that's where me, Sandy, and Danny actually left on the remainder of our 8,000-mile trip. Right. I think Danny did about 8,000 miles too by the time he got home and stuff. It was pretty similar. It was pretty close to the
same distance.
The mileage. Do you remember where did we go after that?
Sioux Falls was no.
That was our first stop.
That was our first stop, right? Sioux Falls. But again, it was
straight
going westbound.
Yeah, so then
scenery not unchanged for like hours and hours.
Yeah. That's when we left. We left Chicago, left Wisconsin.
Right. Yeah.
And we went through I think 19 or 20 states. It was a lot. So we went through Wisconsin, went through Minnesota, and that ride, Wisconsin, all farms.
Dude, you don't remember Wisconsin? What? First time I was...
Oh, yeah, the cheese curds.
There you go. You introduced me to that.
That was...
On the stop, I was grabbing
some... That was good.
So he comes out with this, what is it?
Cheese curds.
Cheese curds. And I'm like,
gas station cheese curds.
What is that? And that was delicious.
Yeah. The cheese curds are good.
I never knew that.
Yeah, we had that, and then we fueled up, and then we kept going west. The ride through Wisconsin, like I said, as soon as you leave Milwaukee, it's all farms.
Yeah.
It's all dairy farms, pretty much, cattle farms. You get through Minnesota, really nice ride, really green, plush.
Yeah.
Right? Again, all farms, cattle, dairy, corn. Just basically all farms. Nice ride.
Yep.
So then...
and I think in the evening we actually got into Sioux Falls.
Yeah, was it?
That evening, and we just went directly, I think, to the hotel because we were like beat. That day was like quite a few hundred miles.
It was quite a bit.
Miles.
Yeah.
And we just went to rest.
But I think we went to Sioux Falls. Yeah, we did. We made it to Sioux Falls
the next morning.
No, that night. No.
No, in the morning we went to Sioux Falls and continued. We met up with your family.
No, I know, but we stayed in Sioux Falls, the town.
Yeah.
So we made it that night to Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
Slept there, and that's Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So instantly, it's crazy. I always say this. If you're riding throughout the country, as soon as you cross, in many states, so to speak, as soon as you cross the state lines, like the landscape changes in a lot of states.
Yeah.
And as soon as you go from Minnesota into South Dakota, it's like somebody just snapped a finger and all of a sudden the landscape changed, right? Everything, like, it's not green anymore. It's like start looking like desert, you know?
And not only that, also the speed limits.
Oh, yeah.
And the road conditions.
Yeah.
Because it's a matter of how much the state actually puts into infrastructure.
100%.
So I remember that, like
yeah,
literally,
yeah.
these roads are much better.
Yeah, like around Chicago, the roads are absolutely horrible. You got to watch for like 2 foot deep potholes. We stayed in Sioux Falls, and then the next morning we actually went to, I don't think it was called Sioux Falls. It was called...
It was Sioux Falls State Park or something
yeah,
like that.
but the actual falls was called something, I forgot. Anyway, look at that video. You could take a look. But it was really nice. I think it was man-made. It was like red granite, right, carved out or something like that. It was a really cool park. Definitely, I could recommend that. It was pretty cool just to check out. If you're going from here to Sturgis, definitely make it a stop.
You remember where we stopped an hour later after that?
No. Oh, yes. Tell them.
Clockworks.
Clockworks, right.
Clockworks.
Yeah,
Met up
that's
with
right.
Brian, from Clockworks, and they showed us around.
Yeah, Brian took us around on a nice tour at Clockworks.
Yeah.
You know, their place was actually flooded just like literally like a month or two before we got there last year. And then when we got there, everything was already fixed and good as new.
And surprisingly, it was on the main road. So it wasn't a big detour at all.
No.
So on your way to Sturgis, going
It was like,
westbound.
what, 3 miles off the road or something? Yeah, so if you guys got a Clockworks windshield on your motorcycle, definitely stop and check them out.
Say hello.
He'll show you around. They're super cool. They got a bunch of cool bikes there in the showroom.
His own collection.
His own collection,
Yeah,
right.
really
And a lot of nice, old, nostalgic pictures on the walls and stuff from, you know, what they did in the past and
Nice
stuff like that.
setup over there.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah.
Right. And then weird after that, I think we went straight through, no? Didn't we go straight? Yeah. I think that was a long leg. We went from Sioux Falls all the way to Sturgis, and that's where we stopped. That was about 500, I think, plus miles. That ride, 80 miles an hour was? Yeah, right?
Everything was...
I mean, the speed limit. Speed
I
limit.
remember,
Yeah, I think the speed limit was 80, but you know, little quicker than that. But again, it is, right, the landscape, crazy, super, super straight. And when I'm talking about super straight, I mean, you could weld the forks in a straight position, chill out with your hands behind your head, and just let the bike roll. You don't even turn the bike. That's how straight the highway is until the eye can't see anymore. It's crazy. It's boring for me.
Listen,
how about for you?
But is that the day? No, listen, come on. Truth be said,
Well, it was your first time, but
yeah.
that was a couple times I did it already. There's only so much you could see when you're out, like pretty much in an open, I call it desert, but I mean, there's nothing around. It's flat. It's probably 500,000 miles flat, all 360 degrees.
Is that the day?
Kind of boring.
Is that the day where afternoon we got to the Badlands?
Yes.
And you took me to the Badlands.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. See that?
Yeah.
That's why I got him here.
I think
We did. I mean, we stopped at so many places. Yes, we went to the Badlands. That's my, I don't know, second or third time going. But he didn't see, so I had to. Or Danny. I don't know if Danny.
I think
was
Danny
there.
was
Danny
there. He
was
there
there
with his wife. I think even a year or two before.
But that's some amazing landscape, right? It definitely looks like the moon.
Mars,
it definitely looks. It looks like a different planet. Super, super cool.
And it was a hot day.
I was just gonna say that. It was like that. It felt like that. It was
105, 110 sometimes.
Yeah, and there was for like 100 miles. We went through the Badlands, and we were going to Sturgis.
Yeah.
We remember we stopped to get something to eat and drink, and we were dying. Like if that restaurant wasn't there, I don't know what we would have done. There wasn't even a tree There wasn't a roof, anything to like pull off under, and cool ourselves down. But that was a refreshing moment going into that restaurant, right? Eating, cooling off a bit.
Resting. Remember that burger. I remember that burger till...
It was good?
Oh, yeah. I still remember it. Danny was like devouring that hamburger. I remember it was like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then...
you remember what we did after that? I do
that.
remember. I remember clearly.
What did we do after that? Tell me.
Because that was like one of my, like, was the highlight.
That wasn't the same.
I think it was Mount Rushmore.
No. It wasn't the same day.
No?
No. We left the Badlands, and then we went towards Sturgis, Rapid City. Then we went to that lake. I forgot the name by, I think it was Spearfish Canyon, close to it. Then we went to that lake. Do you remember the lake?
No, it was beautiful.
That was really pretty.
Yeah.
Because the sun was setting.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
We went there, we stopped there. And if you guys haven't been to Sturgis, definitely go. The riding is amazing. Yeah. Spearfish Canyon. Where else? What was you? So now he could tell us the highlight. What was your highlight of the entire trip?
My highlight was around that time frame. It was Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
Because I think I said it in my video and I told it on your video while we were. It's like I grew up in Israel as an American in Israel. And at the time, America the Great was known for a few iconic names. That's what it's like when you're outside of America. People know America as New York City. They know Washington, D.C. They know Mount Rushmore.
The big parks.
Mount Rushmore. So as a kid and I grew up knowing that, like Mount Rushmore, seeing those huge statues, carvings in the... And to me, it was like when I was there, it was so emotional. It was so emotional, like this is America to me.
Right.
So that was my highlight.
That's like, pretty cool. Yeah.
And
I remember he was tearing up.
You don't have to say everything.
No, but listen, it is an amazing place. I do the same. If I, for instance, when me, Glenn, and Bo went to into Maine, that trip we did from Laconia into Maine, we stopped at Rangeley Lakes Scenic Byway. There was this lake, and just something about it was that day where the sun was kind of creeping through the clouds, the lake, the fog, the mist. It literally, like, it was something like, you know God created this. Like, it was amazing. And that's kind of how we are, definitely how I am. If I just see something super beautiful, something beautiful that God created, scenery, landscape, it's just, sometimes it's like overwhelming. It's unbelievable. But, so you like Mount Rushmore.
I think that if you're in Sturgis,
you got to go.
You got to go to Mount Rushmore.
Right.
You got to.
Right. Needles Highway.
Right.
All those places. So much good riding. It's incredible. So we stayed in Deadwood. We went in. That's another place. Deadwood. That's a lot of history.
Beautiful lodge.
Gorgeous lodge.
Yeah.
That was a really nice place. They had a casino in there and stuff. We stayed there overnight. Then the next morning, it was off into Wyoming.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what happened. No, you know what it is? That's why it's confusing again. Because where we were in Sturgis, we had to go through the tippy-top northeastern corner of Wyoming. You're in Wyoming for a very, very short bit, and then we got into Montana. So then we're up into Montana, and then we went all the way west to Red Lodge.
Oh,
you remember?
To get ready for the next morning.
To get ready for the next leg of the trip. So we stayed in Red Lodge.
Right.
And just so you guys know, like,
I remember.
South Dakota is different in the eastern portions of South Dakota where it's straight and flat and there's really nothing. But as soon as you get more west into South Dakota, the Black Hills and the mountains, it is spectacular, right? It's amazing. And then as soon as you...
That's when in Red Lodge, when the rain got us just as we left the restaurant when we had dinner. On the way to the hotel, the rain, a storm hit us.
I don't remember.
We got all wet into the hotel in Red Lodge.
That I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe. It's possible. I don't...
We were just gunning it.
I know we got stuck in the rain a bunch of times. If you guys haven't rode through Montana, Wyoming, amazing, absolutely amazing. So went through Wyoming, got into Montana, went west, stayed in Red Lodge. And there was a reason why we went to Red Lodge, is because we wanted to hit
next morning
Beartooth Pass, Yellowstone, and the Grand Tetons from the north. So that's why we did it from the top instead of going straight into Yellowstone and having to go north and then back down south through the Tetons. So we stayed in Red Lodge, woke up the next morning, and that was absolutely insane.
Amazing.
What do you think?
That was beautiful.
What do you think about Beartooth Pass?
Very cool, very high, very like exciting, you know?
Yeah.
The ride up, all of a sudden it got cold.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were there end of July. A lot of places, we just left the Badlands, it was 105, 110 degrees.
Yeah.
We woke up that morning in Montana to about, I'm gonna say 40, 50 degrees, something like that in the morning. But as we headed on Beartooth Pass and started climbing in elevation, 10,000, almost 11,000 feet.
10 and a half, right.
It was like, what, 38, 36 in July.
Yeah, close to freezing.
Yeah. So that's, I told you guys this in that video. Definitely, if you're going to do that trip, even if it's July, August, bring your heated gear, bring some warm gear, because it's cold. It was cold. And
you could see literally snow on the tops.
Oh yeah, snow-capped mountains, ice. But what an amazing view on that ride, no?
That was.
Beartooth Pass is something, it's actually listed, I think, one of the top 5 rides in North America, and it deserves it.
A few interesting things over there. First, that's where we had our first encounter with a bear.
Oh, yeah.
First encounter with a bear.
Crazy.
It's like everybody's stopping on their bikes, taking
everybody's like bear.
Taking the cameras out and taking pictures and video, whatever.
Grizzly bear, I may add. There's signs everywhere.
Yeah.
This is grizzly bear territory. You got to be careful. He was up in the hill, right, when we were stopped. Yeah.
And second thing is, I think personally, when we came in from the north, going southbound and climbing up, I think actually the nicer view was once we crossed the pass and started going southbound. That's all of a sudden you see these lakes,
pastures,
and also
at still high elevation,
melted
the lakes.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
It is. It's something unworldly. Like you would be like, oh my God, like this is on our planet. It's absolutely beautiful. Like you don't have to. I tell people this all the time. Like if you want to go on a nice trip, there's 1,000 places that you can go in North America, in America. You don't have to go out of the country to see some beautiful places, right?
Yeah.
So what? We left Beartooth Pass.
And
got into
all the way on the bottom. We got into this little cool town. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, yes.
Very cool. We stopped there. We had a little sandwich.
It was back in. It runs back through.
And just before
into Wyoming,
just before we get into Yellowstone.
Yeah, because Montana is like this and then like that. Wyoming is here. So we kind of went up through into Montana. Then you get into Wyoming for a little bit, and then you kind of go back out. You're like in and out of Wyoming and Montana several times.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of confusing, because you don't understand like how the states are situated, and we're in that kind of corner where you're kind of Beartooth Pass is like going in and out of Montana and Wyoming. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I forgot that town.
What's that little town?
Where that guy stopped at the gas station from Saskatchewan
with the
chopper,
hardtail
on a hardtail chopper. He rode down like 1,000-something miles from Saskatchewan.
Like he had
crazy
a leather seat, just
fur,
that thing.
It was like all welded together. That thing was pretty wicked looking.
Yeah, Saskatchewan guy, right?
Yeah. So we ate there.
Right.
And then kept going.
We went southbound. We entered Yellowstone from the north corner entrance,
right,
and made our way down.
Right.
And those
Yellowstone.
Oh, it's
wow.
It's beautiful.
Wow. That is amazing. I said it looked like Jurassic Park, and it does.
Really
they might have probably, I think they might have even, they might have, I'm not sure, but I could have swore I heard that they did a lot of filming there. But that's what it looks. It looks like you got mountains in the background. You got these super, super extraordinary, huge grass
With a
meadows,
lot of
plateaus, straight with buffalo everywhere and all sorts of different animal, fox, everything.
Yeah.
We've seen pretty much everything, but it's just amazing.
We could have spent a little bit more time over there, you know.
Yeah.
Because like going through Yellowstone, if you like I think your kids were there, but at the time we were there.
Yeah, they were.
And they were camping 2-3 days over there.
Right.
That's a way to see Yellowstone, because there's a lot to see over there, you know.
Yeah, it would take you a week, and you probably still wouldn't see everything if you stayed in Yellowstone.
That was interesting. Very nice.
But we just didn't have the time. No. That's the thing. So we left Yellowstone and entered Grand Tetons.
Grand Teton.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's where we had our second
encounter.
Bear encounter, where I was leading the ride. I was leading the guys. We're doing about, because beautiful scenery everywhere, so we weren't flying, maybe 40, 50 miles an hour, and that's where I noticed out of the corner of my eye, big brown thing starting to trek across the highway, and I literally had to slam on my brake. The guys slammed on their brakes behind me. I took out my camera. You guys could check out in the video. I'll leave you guys a link for it. That's where we had our second grizzly bear encounter. And that was crazy. And Sandy passed me and kept like moving forward towards it. And I told him, "Oh, stop, because you don't want to be messing with no grizzly bear."
I wanted to get a close up, a shot.
But they are massive. They are massive, and I think they were two young ones. They weren't like fully grown. But still, nonetheless, I don't want to be messing around with no grizzly bear. But then right after that, we stopped because of that absolutely amazing. Let me just go back really quick. When you go through Yellowstone National Park, Yellowstone Lake, remember?
Yes.
Absolutely massive, absolutely beautiful. We stopped there as well.
Yeah, just to rest and
because take in the scenery, right? But when we were in the Tetons and we pulled over, remember the mountain range, the Grand Tetons, and that you have that lake there. I forgot what that lake was called, but
probably Teton.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. But that view was one of my favorites. Yeah. That was.
Plus, in the background there was these huge mountains.
The Tetons. Yep. But also it was like the perfect time of day, because that was almost at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. It was like sun and clouds, misty. It was just amazing. I'm telling you guys have to go to some of these places. But then tell them where we went then.
We went to this town. I forgot what is that town called?
It was
the biggest, like one of the nicest ski resorts in America.
Jackson Hole.
Jackson Hole.
That's where we stayed. Nice. Oh, but we did have still a 50-mile ride. Yeah. And it's nothing for us. But the thing is, it took us still like 2-3 hours. It was getting cold because the roads are through mountains, mountain passes, really twisty roads. You can't go fast. It was getting dark. That's why it took us 50 miles. It took us probably 2-3 hours to do. Yeah. And we got to Jackson Hole.
At Jackson Hole, we had dinner.
We still got there right before dark, right?
Right, yes.
That's right. We
had a nice little steak and burger, whatever. But we didn't
Beautiful town.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Remember that
horse and buggy, the carriages. It's really a nice town. But rich town.
Yeah, and I think that dictated where we're going to sleep that night, because we didn't stay in town.
We didn't. We still had a trek.
Yeah, another 30 miles because it was very expensive.
And we were tired.
Yeah.
And we were tired.
And then we get to the hotel. I take all my bags off, and then the room is like a few hundred yards.
Was that there?
Yeah. And then I was like, I'm carrying my bags.
Oh yeah, that was there. That's right. Yeah, he took them off at the was it there or was that in Oregon?
That was there. Yeah.
And the front desk. Yeah. Yeah, we check in at the front. right? He takes off his bags. He's ready to walk in. And then like I'm looking at the map. This place is massive. It goes back like a half a mile. And we were like all the way in the back by the river.
And I'm not loading the bike again. Nope.
Right. So we stayed there. I forgot what town it was. Was it Beaver Creek?
Nope.
So I don't remember where it was, but like you said, it was still like another 20, 30 miles, right?
Yeah.
But what a beautiful place, right? It was right on a river, mountains in the back.
Yeah.
The view from our hotel room was amazing. Stayed there overnight, and then we woke up. We woke up the next morning.
Next morning, I think we were on our way to Oregon. We met up with what's his name? That guy.
Yeah, but we went through before we even got to Oregon. We left Wyoming, got into Idaho.
Idaho, okay.
Yeah, we got into Idaho, and then that's where again the scenery changed, the landscape. Right, it went from this mountainous, green, beautiful, forests, pastures, lakes, rivers. Soon as we get into, this is my first time in Idaho. Obviously, your first time too, right?
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be like that, right? So I'm thinking it's going to be mountainous, green, forests. We got into one of the biggest deserts I've been in the southern portion of Idaho. So if people don't know, the southern portion of Idaho is like all desert, and that's where we were. If you see any pictures or any videos of Idaho with beautiful mountains, greenery, pastures, and trees, a lot of that is in the northern portion where a lot of the mountains are. But we went through a lot of desert, and it was hot.
Yeah.
It was hot, flat deserts, and then we went through that. I'm forgetting where we were, but where all the volcanoes were.
It was there?
Yeah, it was in Idaho.
Moon something.
Moon Crater? No, it wasn't Moon Crater. It was Crater of the Moon.
Crater of the Moon.
National Park. That's where it was. Sorry, I'm going back to the map. I'm just trying to give you the best information. As we're going along, you could kind of map this to see kind of where we went. So it was Craters of the Moon National Park and Reserve.
And it looked like lava,
it was crazy.
Black lava.
Well, right, that's what it was. They dumped it there or moved it there.
Something.
But there's it's perfectly flat, like this table, desert for hundreds of miles, and then you see a couple volcanoes in the distance where I think they're dormant now, but in the past they were there. Absolutely insane. Then we kept going west. Then we also made that stop.
You know what? I think that day we actually met this interesting individual.
Not in Idaho. That was in Oregon. I think we met him.
No, not that guy. The other one that had built his own chopper, slapped every possible part on it.
That was right before we got into the Badlands where we seen him. Yeah, Ed with the chopper at the store when we stopped. So we left there. We were going all through the desert west through Idaho, and we stayed in Boise, or we stopped at the dealership, right, in Boise. I think the Harley Davidson dealer.
Oh, right, Boise,
yes.
Idaho. Yeah.
Yes, we stopped at the Harley Davidson dealer.
I was trying to fix my cruise control.
Yes.
Because
I forgot what I forgot what the dealership was called, but you guys could kind of follow on the map. Left Jackson Hole, got into Idaho, went to the Craters of the Moon National Park, kept traveling west, Boise, and then we went through Boise. We went to the Harley dealer.
Yeah.
Then we stayed overnight in Ontario, Idaho.
Oh, right.
That's where we stayed.
Yeah.
And that we were baking. You remember it was hot. We stayed there, had Chipotle.
Oh, that's the thing. I like Chipotle.
So do I. I like that. And so we stayed there overnight, and then the next morning, that's when that ride was amazing, right? Mm-hmm. Ontario, just so you guys know, Ontario, Idaho. Hang on one second. Ontario, Idaho is Ontario, Idaho was right on the border of Oregon. So we literally left Ontario and then got into Oregon, and then we kept riding west, and that's where I think it was on the highway where we met that I forgot his name.
We were riding along the
No, but not
river.
that wasn't yet. I know,
Not
but that
yet,
wasn't
not
yet.
yet.
No,
Even
no, no.
before that.
Before that, we seen him on the highway.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Cam.
Cam, that's right.
Cameron.
Yeah, he was a cool dude.
Right.
And we seen him on a highway. Never met the guy. Seen
On
him
a
on a
Dyna,
highway on a
right?
Dyna.
Yeah.
And then we pull over to get gas. And then like a couple minutes after, as we're like drinking, this guy Cam pulls in. We start talking to him. We find out he's from Oregon, and we start talking to him. You know, we said, "Come on in." You know, well, let's eat
pizza.
We grabbed the pizza. We ate together. That's when he said,
"Yeah, let me take you for a short ride. I'll show you around. I know the back roads of this area." And took us to that
we had a plan in mind, but then he changed the plan because he mentioned
Mount Washington,
Mount Hood.
Mount Hood.
So we didn't even have it in our itinerary to stop there. I didn't even think about it. But he said, "Listen, instead of me take you guys going that way, let me take you on the way." But before Mount Hood was, for me, one of my favorite things out of the whole trip was the Columbia River Gorge.
That's what it is, yeah.
Wow. Right. Let me tell you, wasn't that, not only is it, in my eyes, one of the most beautifulest view as you're riding on a road, but the road itself, I think it was 95, to tell you the truth. No?
The road, I don't remember.
Let me see. So it's Vietnam Veterans Memorial Highway. It's not showing me what number highway it is, but it's literally running parallel with the Columbia River, which is the Columbia River Gorge, and across the river is Washington
State. Yeah.
Right, right. So you're riding on the southern portion of the Columbia River, and we took that. You see it, bud?
Yeah.
We took that all the way, not all the way to the end. I forgot where we started going south, but we ridden the entire Columbia River Gorge. That was one of my favorite, probably I'm going to say one of the top 5 places that we went to and ride. What about that road? Oh my God, that highway is amazing.
Yep.
Long sweepers, and just on the left you got cliffs, on the right you got the Columbia River. Columbia River is massive.
Yeah.
It is massive. And then you have Washington on the other side.
And eventually dropped us down to Mount Hood.
Yeah, he took us off of that main highway.
Right. All the way into Mount Hood, the base of Mount Hood. That's where he does his snowboarding.
Yeah.
And the ride up there was with the twisties. And beautiful views. Wherever you look, you see Mount Hood over there with the snow. And it's literally a non-active volcano.
Right.
I was impressive. And do you remember how we wound up in this whole area? This was not our plan.
Through him.
Not only that, even going through that route 2 or 3 days before that, we realized on the news there were fires.
Yeah.
There were fire in in California.
That's right. Yeah.
And we had to plan in real time where are we going to go now? How do we get to the coast?
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right? So that's when we started a few days before
that.
that.
So actually, obviously we felt bad because of the fires and a lot of the destruction that it did. But it actually took us more north around all those fires. Fires were going on in Idaho, Oregon, and California.
Yeah, and it blocked our
everywhere.
way. We couldn't cross.
Couldn't cross.
So we had to go northbound.
We had to go around all of that. But thank God.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we've seen some amazing places. Otherwise, we actually would have been just riding kind of through the desert.
Yeah. So it took us all the way up north. Yep.
But another amazing thing, even let's take it a little bit back further. The deserts in Oregon. As soon as you cross into Idaho, again, eastern Oregon is all desert. Like, remember, I couldn't believe it. Like the pictures that you guys probably see a lot on TV. are a lot of the western portions of Oregon along the coast where you see the massive trees and green vegetation. If you go west of that, literally like 3/4 of the state is like all desert. It's a hot desert.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know the difference whether it's Oregon or Arizona.
Yep.
Kind of the color of the sand is different. From Arizona is more like reddish, but Oregon, it's amazing. It's vast desert. Once you come from the deserts in Idaho into Oregon, it's like all desert. But anyway, so we leave Mount Hood, amazing. Then we come back down. We're eating those fresh picked cherries at that gas station, looking up onto Mount Hood. That was a highlight too.
Yeah.
Definitely Mount Hood was a highlight. So did we stay there?
No. We actually, that night, we headed towards the coast, towards the west coast.
Right.
And we stayed on the shoreline, like on the shore of the Atlantic.
Right.
I mean, the Pacific, sorry.
Right.
The Pacific. And I forgot what town it was, a little town.
I think it was like Newport, Oregon, Depot Bay.
Depot Bay.
Depot Bay. That's where we kind of ended up that night, right? We ended there.
That was pretty.
Did we end there that night,
Yes.
or did we go to that place?
No, Depot Bay. We took the beautiful hotel that was nestled within
that's the one I'm talking about.
The fog and everything.
Yes, and that was
it was exciting. Remember rolling in, and it was emotional because we made it. We made it coast to coast.
Yes.
And actually, Depot Bay is where Cam actually told us to go. He recommended that place.
Yes. So there we Otter Rock, Depot Bay. Yes. I remember that place. That place was gorgeous. Then we go into the hotel, right?
Man.
We go into the hotel, open the doors, and all you see, the Oregon coast. That was probably another one, third highlight of my trip, was just to see the Oregon coast.
And
spectacular.
Really
cliffs, massive cliffs, hundreds of feet tall, just dropping. You're on the cliff, it just drops down into the ocean. Islands, rock formations in the ocean. Boy, I seen your face. You were going to say something.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about the next morning.
Oh, yeah, you could tell them about that.
Yeah, we'll very soon we'll get there.
But getting to the Oregon coast from New Jersey was surreal, right?
Yeah, because it was like we made it.
Right.
Coast to coast.
Let me go a little bit before that. As we're in Oregon, we're going through the Oregon deserts, and then gradually you see the changeover to vegetation, trees, right? A little more mountainous. And then once we're probably about 40 miles away from the Oregon coast, that's when it just hammers you in the head. You start seeing these gigantic trees, spruces, amazing, 200, 300, 400 feet tall. Redwoods, just amazing, vast forests, huge trees. I've been to Sequoia National Park.
I was there
many years ago. You too, right?
As a kid, yeah.
And I think those trees are definitely the biggest. Like they're 50, 60, 70 feet across. I'm not kidding. They're massive. Like some of them literally have 2-lane tunnels dug through them. They're massive. These trees were massive, not on that scale, but in their own right, they were tall.
Yeah.
Like massive, crazy.
Impressive.
And then we went through that. And also it dropped from like almost 100 degrees. In like 10 miles, it dropped down to like 55, 60 degrees. And it was really, really refreshing. Remember that?
Remember what happens once the temperatures drop? The fog kicks in.
Remember that?
How foggy it was?
It was. I loved it. It felt like surreal. The fog, the trees, right? The canopies on the trees.
Oh, remember they said we were there August, and they said they call it Fogust because in August that's when it's foggy over there.
Another really interesting fact in that store, the guy told us that it is like year-round, 55 to 70 degrees.
It doesn't change.
Doesn't change. Yeah. That's pretty amazing. I don't think I could actually live there
that temperature.
only because of the amounts of fog that they get.
Yeah, you need the sun.
And the drizzle. It rains more here in the Northeast than it does there in one time. But over there, it's like almost like a drizzle.
It's like London, like
throughout the
England.
entire day. There's like a mist, a fog, a drizzle. And I think because we love to ride that, so much, I don't think it would be viable, feasible for us to live there. But anyway, so we get to the place, we sleep there, and the next morning,
oh man,
it was
because every evening we would download all our footage, footage from our cameras, from our phones, onto our hard drives. And you did that. Used used my computer.
I used your computer to download all of my from the previous 3-4 days of all the footage I took from all the cameras.
And you wake up the next morning.
It's not there.
It's not there.
Yeah. So you guys could check that out in the video too. I was devastated. I thought I lost everything. And I'll just tell you this now. The remainder of the week and a half or 2 weeks left on the trip, I thought I lost those 4 days of me recording everything.
What 4 days? It was almost a week. It was always.
Was it all the way from the beginning? Oh,
yeah.
Maybe it was.
Almost a week of
So
footage.
think about that. We get from New Jersey. I recorded all the way a week and a half, all the way to Oregon, thinking I lost everything.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I get home, and what did I do? I start unpacking, and I thought I only brought one hard drive with me. I'm unpacking my bags, and I start taking out my stuff, and I find out I actually used my head. I took 2 hard drives. Identical. So when I took out the one hard drive, I checked it, had nothing on there. I took out the wrong hard drive. The other hard drive that was in my bag, but I didn't think to check.
It was all the way on the bottom, probably.
It was somewhere, but I didn't think to check. And when I got home, I said, holy cow, there's another hard drive. I run to my computer really quick. Lo and behold, all of the footage was there. So it saved my video. But I try to keep my spirits up.
Yeah.
Right?
I can tell you that the first day or two, it impacted everybody. I mean, you weren't grumpy or anything, but we were all kind of...
Felt bad for me, yeah. But thank God it all worked out.
Yeah.
And I was able to put together the video for you guys. So anyway, we leave there. Beautiful, gorgeous ride. We're going south down Pacific Coast Highway.
To the
Redwoods. To the Redwoods.
What park
so
is
it's
it?
Redwood National Park. Headed down to California. But we did stop at an amazing place. I forgot. Crazy Fisherman.
Oh, yeah.
Stop for fish and chips.
Yeah, it was great.
That was delicious. Right on Pacific Coast Highway. Amazing. You got the ocean right there.
Oh, it was nice.
Great food. We had our hoods on, foggy, drizzly, windy, chilly. So we stopped there, ate there, got into California. That was Danny's highlight.
Yeah, he wanted
getting into California because that's what he told all his boys back home. He said, I'm going to California. I got to get to California. So we were actually not going to go there, remember, because of the fires?
Yeah, we were concerned.
That was another thing.
We maybe will not be able to make it to California.
We didn't want to be locked in. And also, there was a lot of highways that went through, like...
The fires.
The fires that we didn't want to start going through and kind of be locked in there. So we had to go around. So it actually forced us down further into California. Right.
And then to go up.
Yeah. So what did you think about the Redwood National Park?
Was why Giants? Why am I remember the name something Giants?
No, that's
Giant.
Yeah, it's Giants. It's Redwood Giants, but it's Redwood National Forest.
Yeah, very nice. It was impressive. Like this whole
Amazing,
area
right?
these huge tall trees.
So it was actually starting. If you guys want to know, we took Pacific Coast Highway down, and it kind of starts in Crescent City, and then we took that down. We took that down all the way to McKinleyville. The Pacific Coast Highway, just so you guys know, is
it's very nice.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely tack that on to a highlight of the trip.
Route 101.
A1A or I forgot. Yeah, but it's Pacific Coast Highway.
The Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah. So then we went down towards, like I said, Crescent City. Still went down to McKinleyville, and then I'm trying to find
where we started going eastbound, right?
Trying to find the highways, Trinity.
It was Highway 90 something. That was a beautiful ride.
Yeah, it was like
through the canyons.
290 something. But it's called Trinity Highway. We went from McKinleyville to Trinity Highway. That's basically, yeah, Trinity Highway. That's what it's called. I don't know the number of the highway, but you guys could check that out. Let me see. Let me back this out a little bit.
We were going to go to Reno that day.
Yeah, let me see where it is. But we were going from McKinleyville to Redding, California. It's Trinity Highway, one of the best, probably
it was a beautiful ride.
Top 5 roads that I have ever been on. You had a river that you follow on that highway. I think it was like 299, something like that.
Something
with
with a
Trinity
9.
Highway. So amazing ride.
Canyons.
Eastbound. You're in the canyon, right?
Yeah.
And you're on that highway. We were following that through Redding, and then we went into Nevada, but we stayed in Reno, didn't we?
No, we got to Reno. We said, okay, let's continue a little bit eastbound, and we stayed east of Reno. So we rolled through Reno and continued. The plan was to stay in Reno, but we were so fresh that day, and we said, you know what, let's get another hour or 2 of riding. I forgot where we stopped, but just outside. I know. Dude, with the train at that night, where the train kept you awake.
Well, I know that, but I forgot what town it was. But anyway, we rolled out of California. We went into Nevada, rolled through Reno,
right,
and then a couple miles out of Reno, we stopped at a hotel.
Yeah,
stayed there overnight. One of the worst nights of sleep that we had on the entire trip. And like Sandy said, it was like a locomotive rail yard that was in the back of this hotel that you couldn't see because when we rolled up at night, but we figured that out because all we heard all night was locomotives running all night long.
Moving the cars all around.
Just a massive diesel engine shaking the building. So we left that next morning, right?
Yeah.
And then we plowed through some miles that day.
We were crushing miles. That was pretty much.
That was Route 80, back on Route 80.
Yeah.
And tell them about that.
What was there? What was going on Route 80? It was a good road.
I said it was the best stretch of highway that I've ever been on is Route 80 through Nevada.
I think
Beautiful pavement.
Yeah.
Right? Mountainous still.
6 a.m. We hit the road. Sun. And 2 hours later, we cover like 120, 140 miles.
We were moving.
Yeah.
There was no one around. There was not even one car on the highway. There was a couple cars passing, but as far as behind us, in front of us, there was nobody on the road.
Nice, some sunrise there.
Yeah.
Riding into the
speed limit 80, I think, right too.
That was really nice.
So we were moving 90, 100. We were moving. We covered. Put it this way, we covered the entire stretch. We stopped for gas, obviously, but we covered the entire state of Nevada in just a couple hours, right? We were moving.
That morning, 8 o'clock, we stopped for breakfast. That's when you fed me the fake burger.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
He stacked up all his buns one on top of the other and gave it to me. I was like, oh, listen, I don't want this. You can have it. But where were we heading that day?
We were going to Utah to Salt Lake City.
Oh.
So tell them where the next place where we went through Nevada into Utah. Tell them where we went.
Wait, is it Salt Lake City we're going?
We went to the Salt Flats.
Oh, yeah, but
yeah.
Was it that? Yeah, that was our
Bonneville.
It was Bonneville, right?
Bonneville Salt Flats. That was our next stop.
Yes.
So did we stay at a hotel in Bonneville and then the next morning we did.
Remember after we were
so we stayed. Hang on. So we stayed. Let me see. Let me just check this out.
In the evening, we stayed at Salt Lake itself, city. And that's when we went to wash our bikes and stuff like that, John.
Yeah.
But before that...
No, we washed our bikes after the Salt Flats.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but first we went to the Salt Flats.
Correct.
Yeah, that's I'm asking where we stayed.
The night before?
When we rolled through Nevada
Yes.
into Utah, where did we stay?
We did not. We
didn't stay
We
anywhere.
didn't stay, no.
So we went straight
Exactly.
to the Bonneville Salt Flats.
Right.
Oh my God, that was another
That was
amazing place.
That was
no,
cool. Very cool.
that was
Because it's
surreal.
a little iconic thing, like a place where the world record, speed world records was
Right,
set,
right.
and motorcycles named at that place.
And they were holding Speed Week
Right, exactly
that
then.
week when we showed up.
Yes.
So not only did we go there, but when we got there, super hot, right?
Very
Not only did we, when we were there, they had Speed Week and they were running the cars and the jet cars down the track, and you could hear them in the distance. Oh yeah. So what'd you think about the Bonneville Salt Flats?
Very
man?
impressive. Very hot that day as well. I remember my dad was, when I told him, I didn't really tell him that I was going on this trip because, you know,
They worry.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
worry. The old timer was like, "Oh, you gotta be careful." So
Right.
when I told him that we were there, he says, "Oh, it's gonna be really hot over there. The reflection from
You're like, "Dad, I'm here."
Dad, I'm here already." He says, "Make sure you drink a lot." It was really hot, but it was so cool. Everybody like camping out on the flats.
Yeah.
With the event, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the Salt Flats, super hard.
Yeah.
It's not like what people maybe would think. It's like soft sand. It's like pavement almost. You know, you could kind of scrape it with a knife,
but
it's compact. Dust, yeah.
A lot of
so
salt.
we rode, I don't know, probably, what do you think, 20 miles at least deep into the Salt Flats.
Yeah.
Got the bikes all nice and salty. And then we stayed there, I'm going to say a half an hour because it was just way too hot. We didn't have any canopy.
You know,
we
John,
had water, obviously.
You
but
said at the time, like, as long as the salt is on the bike, but it doesn't get wet. You're okay.
reaction.
There's no problem.
Right.
But what happened once we left? Remember?
Tell 'em.
Oh, so we're rolling out, and Danny is like.
We left the Salt Flats.
Yeah, and he's kind of concerned about his
Worried,
bike.
yeah,
Worried about his bike. He's very.
I mean, I am too.
Yeah,
I don't
but
want
he's
the bikes to
meticulous.
get wet.
Meticulous,
Yeah,
and he wanted to get the bike cleaned up.
Right.
And we just couldn't find a place where we can actually wash the bike. And we were saying, as long as the salt is dry, not a problem.
Right.
So we start rolling out
Back on 80.
eastbound, and then we see this huge storm building up. John is with his like little phone, and he's tracking. He says,
Tracking the radar.
We should be okay.
Well, no, there was no way around it.
Right,
There was no way. We're on 80. We're in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the Salt Flats still,
and then what happens?
let loose, boy.
we get
let loose.
pummeled.
Freezing, cold, torrential rains. Literally, in just a couple minutes, the Salt Flats turned into lakes. Remember that?
We're able to stop.
Stunk like sulfur.
We're able to stop on the side in one of the gas stations. That's when I actually almost ran out of gas as well.
Yeah, and we were just chilling there for a while.
And the rain.
Watching the hail bounce off our bikes.
With all the salt.
Remember that?
And all the salt and
my God.
everything.
Yeah, that was amazing. So we stood there for, I don't know, a
Half hour,
little while. Yeah. And then we said, you know what? It stopped. But the clouds were going in the direction we had to go. So we gave it some time. I'm looking at the radar. We had no other choice. We left. Sure enough, we get onto the highway, and about a half an hour later, we catch up to the storm.
Again,
and we got into the rain. We had to go under an overpass, the 80 overpass. We sat there for a while. Long story short, we waited a while, and then we got back on 80.
And we get to Salt Lake City. Check into the hotel.
Yeah.
And what happens at the hotel?
Oh, yeah.
Half of the town, half the city is out of electricity.
Yeah.
How can that even happen?
Well, that same storm, it was a major storm. That same storm knocked the power out to almost the entire city. No power in the hotel. But I said, listen, buddy, we just rode like 500, 600, 700 miles. We're tired. Can we just leave our bags here? We didn't check in, but we had reservations. Yeah. We left our bags there. He was cool enough. We left our bags there, went to eat, right?
No, we went to wash our bikes.
We went to wash our bikes.
That's right. You
That's
surprised us and got in advance, looked up.
It was like a self-wash, car wash with like a high pressure power washer.
Your coins, and then you power wash.
Yeah, and we needed it. And we showed that in the video. They definitely needed a wash.
Oh, yeah.
We had salt caked up on the exhaust, on the
Everywhere.
radiator, all over the place. Even riding through that rain didn't take off a lot. We needed that high pressure washer
That was
to
a
take
good
it
wash
off.
over there for the bike. I think it was like the first major wash since we started our.
First wash.
I think
First
maybe.
wash period.
Yeah.
No, we didn't wash them. Then we went to eat, right?
Then we
went to eat.
Nice dinner.
Nice
and-
dinner. Then we went back to the hotel. They had power.
Yes, at this.
And then we checked in and stayed in Salt Lake City. I don't even remember what we did after that.
I think our next destination was going to be Pikes Peak.
we rolled through Utah, right? And we rolled into, and also Utah, like western, a lot of desert, a lot of desert. And then we got into Colorado. We went to, we went to Steamboat.
Steamboat, Colorado.
We went to Steamboat. Did we stay there? Now I forget. I don't remember. Yes, you're right. It was like a mile or 2 miles away from the downtown Steamboat area.
That's where I had a steak
Yes.
where you cook it yourself. You had some nice sushi over there.
Yes.
Yes.
And then where do we go? We went from there.
Next morning, we rode towards Pikes Peak. And
That was wow. Wow. Went through as we're going towards, I guess, the Rockies, got to Pikes Peak. What did you think about that?
Very cool.
Huh?
Very cool. I was a little bit concerned, to tell you the truth, because we saw the storm coming in as we're climbing up Pikes Peak. You can see like one mountain south of us, or was it whatever? You see the storm coming in, and the people down in the entrance were warning us, guys, the minute that storm comes in, we're closing the park. And the last thing you want to do is ride down the Pikes Peak on a
when it's raining. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Right. There was a couple places on this trip, like Beartooth Pass. It's hard to breathe, and you get kind of funny feeling, a little dizzy in the head. You get some altitude. I don't want to say sickness. Nobody got sick.
Not there, but
you could feel it.
Yeah, you change. You can it's not as easy to breathe because there's less oxygen at that.
Right. Yeah, because you're at like 10, 11,000 feet.
Yeah, we're at 11.
But Pikes Peak, you're at almost 15,000 feet.
Was it? Yeah.
Very, very hard to breathe. And people do get altitude sickness there.
Yeah,
depending on what shape you're in. If you're not in good shape, you can get altitude sickness. I will tell you that.
It's a matter of how long you stay in that altitude.
The exposure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because if you're in and out quickly,
but we were exposing ourselves to kind of higher altitudes throughout the trip as well too.
So your body gets acclimated.
But what a ride! I did Mount Washington a couple times here in New Hampshire, and that's a little over 6,000 feet. This is wow. Mount Washington, New Hampshire is beautiful, but this was on another level. The ride up to Pikes Peak, absolutely insane. Like just nuts. The even like when you're riding, like even on Mount Washington, it's like a couple 1,000-foot drop.
Yeah.
This is like times 5. It's just absolutely insane. What was your like best part of that trip going up Pikes Peak?
Oh, it's first of all getting there. It was like I've been to Pikes Peak, achieving it, and knowing that okay, this is kind of scary right now because I do see the storm coming in.
Right.
Let's get up there, take our pictures, breathe in,
Get out.
and get out. And
So there's a monument all the way at the top that it says like 14,000 and change feet. We took a quick picture over there.
Pikes Peak Summit or something like that.
But it started like snowing, little hail, little rain. You could see the clouds start coming in.
And we actually had to put on our rain gear.
Yeah.
On the halfway through, right?
Probably not even.
Not at the foot. It was put our rain gear on and slowly roll down.
Yeah, that was crazy. So we go like almost halfway down. Yeah, probably not even. Put our rain gear on, start going down, and now it's raining. And now we're worried. We're going like super slow.
Yeah.
We're trekking down. It was really, that was probably like the most sketchiest thing.
It was.
We probably did on the entire trip, but we made it down. That's when the rain just came down, right? It really came down. Back onto the highway. Where did we go after that?
We went to this small town where we had...
Oh, Colorado Springs? Colorado Springs. Yep, Colorado Springs. I forgot where we stayed though, but it was around the Colorado Springs area. So anyway, we left Pikes Peak. I think we went down through Colorado Springs. Did we stay in Colorado?
I don't remember exactly.
I think we did though,
Okay.
right? It might be, no?
Remember we had a great restaurant, a little local restaurant that served ranchers, local beef.
Right,
Remember, it was pretty good.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
It was raining too.
It was raining.
Exactly, yes.
Exactly.
We had to walk up. We walked up to the hotel.
Exactly.
Yes. That was still Colorado. So
Right.
that's where we stayed that night.
Right.
And then basically
there.
to not make this video super long, basically then after we left, that was kind of our last destination.
Kind of.
We had to go back home because I only had like 4 days, right? Something like that, 4 days to get back home to take my son off to college.
Yeah.
We had to cut the trip kind of short. But basically, from Colorado, we blasted through Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and back home.
Yeah.
Kind of, we didn't make any stops.
No, that part. I don't want to say garbage time, but it was like okay, we got to get home. We did stop for an oil change.
We stopped at the oldest Harley Davidson dealer in Ohio.
That's where you did your oil change.
What name was that? I forgot. I forgot the name. But anyway, Ohio, oldest. I'll put it down at the bottom. Oldest Harley Davidson dealership in the country. I changed my fluids because you and Danny actually...
Day before we did on the road.
Oh, you did it day before?
Yeah, day before
you did
on the
at
road.
the hotel,
at a restaurant.
At a restaurant. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, so then anyway, long story short, 8,000 miles. We make it back home. 3 weeks. Amazing time. Danny only had that problem.
Split off
Right.
a day or two before, just
because he had to go north.
He
had to go north
towards Toronto.
And I was going to say, I didn't have not one problem with my bike. You only had the cruise control issue?
7,000 miles without
heated grips
cruise
or
control.
just cruise control?
No, just cruise control wasn't
Cruise
working.
control issue. And Danny actually had a front double fork seal issue where actually single on the left side his fork seal was going out. So we kind of rigged something up. You could see in the video to kind of keep the oil contained, but he did make it home.
He did.
He did make it home. So other than that, no incidences.
Thank God.
No problems, no accidents, no crashes. Made it home safe. So yeah, if you guys are planning like a trip like that, that's kind of where we went. And the only thing that I could say, or the biggest thing that I could say is, if you're going to do a trip like that, try, because we realized that, remember, we were actually doing a little too many miles at once.
Yeah, you got to give it more time or less distance. One of the two.
Right. So either spend more time on the trip doing less miles, or just shorten the trip up and do less miles. That's the main thing. That's the main goal. Do anywhere between, at most, I would say 200 to 300 miles per day. Would you agree?
You know what? I would even say something that
less.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
The definitely it's like either more time,
right,
or less distance.
Yeah, but how many miles would you do in a day?
I would do 200 to 300.
That's it. Yeah.
That's.
I even, looking back at it, would say like go. Let's take this for instance. If you want to check out Beartooth Pass, if I had to do it over again, check out Beartooth Pass, Yellowstone, and Grand Tetons.
A few more days.
I would literally take 2 weeks. Just to spend the time there.
Yeah.
Because even if you do 200 to 300 miles a day, it just felt like you're rushing through it because you got to make that distance. So you stop at a place and you're there for a half an hour, then you got to get back on the road because you don't want to be riding in the dark.
Yeah. And if you do the West Coast, another week or two.
Oh,
1 or 2 weeks, because there are places we just didn't get to see.
Right.
we just didn't get to see on the West Coast.
Like honestly, it would have been great if we had like 2 months to really, because when we were, I'll give you one example. When we were on the Oregon coast, I would have loved just to be at the Oregon coast like that whole week, because there's so much to explore, the coast, the forests, go down on the beach. There just wasn't enough time to sit and relax and to really absorb and enjoy everything. That's the only thing I regret, you know? Just to be able to, you know, really spend a couple days at each location instead of stopping and just, you know, stopping at a location for half an hour, take some pictures, and then back on the bike. You know what I mean? That's the only regret I have. So, but if you can't, like just say if you can't, I mean, if you can't, you can't.
Right.
You know, then you just kind of do what we did. Even though we only try to keep it 200 to 300 miles a day, don't get me wrong. There was days we did over 500, 600 miles.
Yeah.
Because there was just nothing. We were blasting through the desert, blasting through
Our country is huge. Our country is huge.
Right. Yeah.
I would like to say, you know, closing this conversation that we're having, the biggest take for me from this trip, from this experience that we had, is that we actually did it. And a lot of times when people say, "Oh yeah, that's on my bucket list," and I said it in the past. I say that again.
Right.
I think the concept of a bucket list is kind of flawed.
Right.
You need to get to, while you're healthy, at the age when you have money and you're enjoying yourself,
right,
to see what you could have seen during your lifetime. You can't save things to the age of 65, 67 when you retire.
Then you can't do it. Bravo.
You probably
it's the
probably
truth.
won't be able.
People,
a lot of times,
people talk a lot. They say, "I want to go here. I should go there. I should go there."
It's on my bucket list.
Never do it.
Do it while you still can.
Or they say, "Oh, when I retire."
Nah, do it now.
Bullshit.
You
Do it
have to
now,
do it.
man. Do it now. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what cards life is going to deal you later down the road.
So do it.
Do it.
I look at your bike over there. That bike has been coast to
a lot of places.
Coast to coast.
Yeah.
That's what you have your bike for.
Yeah.
That's
what it's there.
Don't say I will do it. It's on my bucket list.
A lot of people, believe it or not, that I've met, even in meeting people at meet and greets throughout my 4 or 5 years on YouTube, I meet a lot of people, believe it or not, that haven't been out of their own state.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say something bad, but it's just the truth. They just never get out and venture. They always say, one day I'll do this, or I would love to do that, but they just never do it, like Sandy was saying.
If I can influence you to do something as an influencer or whatever, I'll
do that.
Do that. Like, do stuff. Do it. Just do it.
Get out and ride.
Yeah. Like, I want to get to Mount Rushmore. It's on my bucket list. No. Next year, when you make your resolution for next year, you say, this year I'm going to go. I'm going to go to Mount Rushmore.
Hey, I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to eat healthy, and I'm going to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, don't say, when I retire. No.
Yeah, each year you could pick a certain particular trip, a certain particular ride. You don't have to do everything all at once like we did.
And I'm happy we did it. I'm so happy.
That was a friggin' crazy trip, man. But we did a lot of amazing trips up north into Maine, New Hampshire, Florida. There is a couple, just so you guys know. Right here, I have a flag. A subscriber gave this to me. This is like a flag patch, and what you do, it's all white with the states outlined in black. And what you do is you color in the states.
I have the same thing. I didn't fill mine out yet. Yeah,
you color in all the states that you rode through, that you ridden a motorcycle through. As you guys can see, I have pretty much like 95% of the states covered. Even though we were so close to Washington,
we didn't.
We should have actually went across the bridge, but we didn't. We were pressed for time. Washington, Michigan, Texas, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. Those are only the couple states that I have left. I will tell you, I can't tell you all the details, but I will tell you, here in the next couple weeks, I will be
somewhere in one of those.
In Texas and I will knock that one out. And we have a nice ride planned for you. I can't tell you about it right now. That's in the next couple weeks.
I can see 2 of them that you're probably not going to be in the next future. 2 of them.
Well, what I want to do, I'll have Texas knocked out this next month. But then I do want to plan a trip. We should plan a trip maybe down south through, like I said, Arkansas. That's another one. Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. I definitely want to hit those states. And then I'll only have Michigan and Washington to hit. I don't know how the hell I'm going to go get back to Washington. I think I'm going to have to fly out there and ride a motorcycle and get back home. But then we'll be going to Milwaukee homecoming again in July.
John, how about Alaska and Hawaii?
Yeah. Well, I've been to Alaska. I've been to Hawaii when I was in the military.
Yeah.
But I did not ride a motorcycle there. But yes, that would be. Maybe we'll do it, me and you one day. Yeah. That would be pretty cool. I definitely think I would fly, even though I would love to ride from Washington through British Columbia and into Alaska. That would be amazing. Another trip that we potentially have planned in the future, don't know when, is riding. You remember you and Danny talked about, is riding from New Jersey, going to Nova Scotia to Canada, and then riding the entire length.
Canadian all the way to
British Columbia, Vancouver, down into Washington. So maybe
there you go.
Maybe that's a plan in the future. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any questions about our topic here. We just wanted to kind of motivate you guys for this year, for the future to ride
and to put a closure to our journey.
Put a closure to the journey, but that it was just awesome. Yeah. Not only was the places that we went to amazing, but the camaraderie, the experience between me, Sandy, and Danny. That's something that I will remember my entire life. The friendship, the bond, to lay down 8,000 miles on a trip. It doesn't take a lot of miles to kind of bond and become a brother, but we did 8,000 miles together, so it was amazing. Thank you, brother. Definitely check out Sandy's channel, Holy Shift, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Say goodbye, Sandy.
Goodbye, Sandy.
Peace out.
Peace.